Day 20, and this chapter is talking about the women who followed Jesus as his disciples. It will reference a few women, but in particular, two different Marys. And the first one that he's talking about in Luke 10:38-39, she had a sister named Mary, and this is the story of Mary and Martha. Had a sister named Mary who sat at the master's feet and listened to his teachings. Now, if you look in Luke, you'll see several other women who are named like Mary, Joanna, the wife of Herod's servant Chusa, and Susanna, and many others. So many other women were following as well. And Luke wants us to understand that Jesus' ministry in its foundational stage was uniquely dependent upon women, meaning a lot of the resources, the finances, came from certain women. And so back to Mary and Martha. So Martha, of course, in the story says, "Master, don't you care that Mary is not helping me? She's not helping me in the kitchen." And of course, he replies, "Martha, Martha, you are fretting and fussing about so many things, and only one thing matters. Mary has chosen the best part, and it's not going to be taken away from her." So at this stage, you can see that there's really a big familiarity between Jesus and the two sisters, meaning she is basically sassing him and saying, "Hey, tell my sister to get back to work." And that means that his disciples spoke very plainly with him. They were friends as well as disciples, and Jesus is letting this happen. So in the first century, though, to sit at the feet of a master teacher implied a teacher-student relationship. And you'll see this when it references Paul's teacher, Paul sitting at the feet of Gamaliel. By describing Mary and Jesus this way, Luke is basically helping us to understand something very significant, that Mary was welcomed by Jesus as a student to be his follower and apprentice to his way of living. And at the time, especially, he is referencing another book called Jesus Through Middle Eastern Eyes. That really went against cultural norms, especially as a female. And the author in that book says, in all likelihood, Martha is thinking, this is disgraceful. What will happen to us? My sister has joined this band of men. Who's going to marry her after this? And Jesus is basically saying, you're worrying about too many things. I don't care about the cultural norm. She is my apprentice. She's chosen the best thing, and it won't be taken away from her. Now, it's saying a reference to Mary Magdalene, who has a very special relationship because, of course, she appears at the cross. She is even accounted as the first person to see Jesus. And so we do know there's a special relationship there as well. We don't have to go into hidden thoughts of, I wonder if they were secretly married or not. No historian truly believes those kinds of rumors. But we do see that Jesus has honored women at the cross, at his grave, during his ministry, and it holds a very special place to him. And he goes on to talk about the fact that a woman author decades ago has really written some essays about how Jesus attracted women to his sense of allowance and even approval for women to be in a unique position to see themselves differently and not just their roles and responsibilities. And that author of the essays, her name was Dorothy Sayers, by the way, says, "Perhaps it is no wonder that women were first at the cradle and last at the cross. They had never known a man like this man. There has never been such another." And so this unique relationships to Mary, but others, really is a highlight to that really, again, broke cultural norms, broke boundaries, and this is what we want to continue to define Jesus as, is this boundary breaker that draws everyone to himself and breaks people free.